Live stream test 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Test 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us. NJCAA Women's Lacrosse action on display here tonight from CCBC Essex Stadium as the Knights are set to host the Howard Dragons. This will be the second time this season these two teams have met. The first match came back on March 27th, a 19-13 win for the Dragons. I'm Rocco Jeppy. I'm going to have the call for you tonight, but let's take a quick look back at that first matchup. The Knights went down at halftime 8-3, played an entirely different game in the second half, still were outscored by a margin of 11-10, but really made it a ball game in that one for the final of 19-13. In that game, looking through the box score, we see the number one goal scorer in the game was Alexis Corbett-Fenical. We'll get back to her in just a little while here. For the Dragons, Kelsey Scott had 4 tallies. Nicole Keller had 4, and leading the way for the Dragons that night was Sigwalt with 5 scores. A lot of those names among the national leaders as the two teams are going through the stick check. Alexis Corbett-Fenical leading the nation in multiple categories. She leads the nation with 51 goals. She also leads with 62 points, 87 shots. And she has the most draw controls in the nation with 48 as well. A lot of Dragons on that list as well. The second leading goal scorer is Kelsey Scott with 44 goals. The most assists this season in the nation is Miss Dudley of the Dragons, Colleen Dudley. And the list goes on and on for these two teams. There's a member of one of these teams in each of the top offensive categories. Who's that from? She is. Still finishing up the stick checks. Taking a look at both of our starting goaltenders tonight. For the Dragons, starting in goal is going to be Elmendorf. Elmendorf has played the bulk of the minutes this season, a 10.46 goals against average, 40 total saves, and a save percentage of about 33%. On the other side, for the Knights, leading the way is going to be Taylor Stambaugh. Stambaugh comes in leading the nation in total saves with 80. She has a 41.7 save percentage and a goals against average of 10.63. So it looks like one team is finished up with their stick checks. They're working through Howard right now. We're going to pause until we get to the starting lineups, after which we will be back here with the Knights hosting the Dragons, live from CCBC Essex Stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to introduce the starters for this evening's games, beginning with our visitors from Howard. Number 4, Lydia White. Number 7, Kristen Agel. Number 8, Kelsey Scott. Number 11, Nicole Keller. Number 12, Rachel Sigwalt. Number 13, Devin Bozzioni. Number 14, Maddie Reeser. Number 15, Sarah Sagi. Number 16, Colleen Dudley. Number 19, Delaney Heath. Number 22, Jenny Raybush. And starting in goal for the Dragons, number 21, Deanna Elmendorf. The Dragons are led by head coach Kate Seagroves, and she is assisted by Rebecca Coughlin and Becca Wallace. And now the starting lineup for your CCBC Essex Knights. Number 1, Laura de Guzman. Number 2, Nikki Campbell. Number 4, Deja Cavia. Number 7, Lexi Franklin. Number 8, Tiana Hapsis. Number 10, Bailey D'Amico. Number 12, Alexis Corbett-Fenical. Number 16, Madison D'Amico. Number 20, Mackenzie Lane. Number 21, Erin Moran. Number 23, Marissa Hernandez. And starting in goal for the Knights, number 19, Taylor Stamball. Your Knights are led by head coach Candace Schroeder, who's assisted by Rebecca Plantholt. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask all that are able to please rise and remove your hats as we honor America and the men and women of the armed forces with the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner. So there were the starters for today's game. If you didn't catch them during the PA announcement, it's White, Ogley, Scott, Keller, Sigwald, Bozzioni, Reeser, Sagi, Dudley, Heath, Raybush, and Elmendorf in goal. That's for the Dragons. For the Knights, it's de Guzman, Campbell, Cabia, Franklin, Hapsis, Bailey D'Amico, Corbett-Fenical, Madison D'Amico, Mackenzie Lane, Moran, Hernandez, and Taylor Stamball in goal. All right, looks like we are just about ready to go. Appears it's going to be Corbett-Fenical on the draw for the Knights. And trying to catch a number, I believe, Sigwald for the Dragons. And this one is underway. First possession, whistle blown, and the ball will go to the Knights. The Knights will control the first offensive possession here. No, referees changed their mind or made a mistake. So it will be Howard. We're going back the other way. Howard shooting toward the right this first half. Essex to the left. Essex wearing the home whites and the burgundy colors for the Dragons. Dragons moving the ball around a lot, trying to pierce this defense. The ball on the ground. And whistle blown. It'll be Knights ball. Foul called on Sigwalt. So Kabia will get it going for the Knights the other way. Remember, in this game, that clock that you see on your computer or device, television set, wherever you're watching from, that is not the official clock, as we see Moran get the ground ball, have it knocked out of her stick by Raybush. Still on the ground, but she gets it back. So Moran will get it in. The Knights' first offensive possession. A good pass to Lane, looking around. Can't find anyone. She'll shoot off the post, it appears. So the Knights get the first shot. Can't get it into the net. Good defense being played by D'Amico. Has it knocked out of her stick and a whistle blown. It will be a free position shot opportunity for D'Amico. First real scoring chance here for the Knights. Elmendorf, she's ready. D'Amico about 12 meters out. Whistle is blown. Shot save made by Elmendorf, but the ground ball picked up by de Guzman. De Guzman, used to seeing her on defense. She's playing up today. Couple of injuries to the Knights squad, which we'll talk about later, has her playing in the attack zone. Moran goes around the net, nothing going, gives it up to Lane. Lane now surveying, looking for her cutters. Here comes Corbett Fennicle, knocked to the ground is the ball. Still on the ground now, and picked up by the Dragons. It's Sagi with the ground ball, whistle blown, and restart. So here we go now, up ahead. Scott gives it up. Long pass to Sigwalt. Here come the Dragons. They're looking for their first scoring opportunity. Cherry picker, but picked up quickly by Bailey D'Amico. Shot is wide. That one was taken by Heath. And there's a goal on the restart. Looking to get the number. It is number 8 with the goal. That's going to be Kelsey Scott. Have to wait to see if there was an assist. For Scott, that's her 45th goal of the season. Howard goal scored by number 8, Kelsey Scott. Time of the goal, 2 minutes, 17 seconds in the first half. The Knights come right back down, though. Shot, no goal. Charging called on Corbett Fennicle. So momentum taken away from the Knights there with that call. Not sure that head coach Candace Schroeder agrees with the call. We'll have to talk to her later and see what her thoughts are. So here come the Dragons again. Knights defense has got to come up with a stop. They did a good job the first go-round, but here we go. The second time, good save made by Taylor Stanball on the shot by Sigwalt. But again, the Dragons get the rebound. Behind the net, pass out in front, nothing going. Missed pass by Ogle. Campbell working on defense. Picked up by Scott, and Howard will regroup. Just into the 4th minute of this one. Howard leads it 1-0. Good pass out in front. A good move, but Taylor Stamball comes out, and there's going to be a whistle blown. And a free position is going to be given to the Dragons. I believe it's Scott taking the shot. Can't see the number. The long hair covering the back of the jersey. Shot is taken. It's wide. It was actually Keller who took the shot. Rebounded back to the Dragons. Long pass over her intended target. Campbell working for the ground ball now. Dragons also working for it. Ogle still on the ground now. Picked up by Scott. Long pass to the ground. Being controlled by Keller. Long pass behind the net. Dragons will try and set something up. Whistle blown. And I think they called a 3-second violation against the Knights. Keller will have the free position. Keller on the free position. She'll take the shot. Save made by Stamball. Stamball has come up big a few times here early on in this game. Her defense has got to get a turnover and a clear. Get that ball back to the midfield. There's a feed inside. The ball falls to the ground. Kabia trying to get to it for the defense. Nothing going. Keller got it. Feeds out in front and a score. A beautiful feed to Ogle. And it's now 2-0 Howard. For Ogle, her 8th goal of the season. Howard goal scored by number 7, Kristen Ogle. Assisted by number 11, Nicole Keller. Time of the goal, 4 minutes, 17 seconds. So exactly 2 seconds apart, those goals are scored. The Dragons up 2-0, and they get the draw control here. And they are showing off their speed. This defense, I would say, a bit tired, as it has been all Howard thus far, save for a couple of seconds that the Knights had the ball on offense. Back behind the net. Segi feeds out in front. No defense was there. Luckily for the Knights, Heath dropped the ball, so the Dragons will reset. Back behind the net. Ogle drops it, gets possession back. Feeds into the front. A swarm of Knights. The shot is taken, and she scores. The second goal of the game by Scott. Her 46th goal of the season. And Howard is up by 3. Howard goal scored by number 8, Kelsey Scott. Her second goal of the game. Time of the goal, 5 minutes, 1 second. This is very much how the first game started. And another draw control for Sigwalt. And Howard has gotten, I believe, all 4 draw controls. Yeah, they have. All 4 draw controls have gone to Howard, and that's the name of this game. And stick to the... No, they're going to call a charge? Or they were just pointing to the... You just never know. Nope, it is going to be a charge. So the Knights will have a chance to go on offense. Corbett Fennicle has her pass knocked away. Good play by Raybush. The ball on the ground. Now the Knights have to fight to get it back. Whistle blown. And it's going to be a foul against the Knights. So the Dragons will get the ball back. A short-lived possession for the Knights. Ball sent up by Scott. Nope, she still has it. Into the zone. Now on the stick of Ogle. Ogle, far side. Gives it up top to Sigwalt. Fed inside. Ball drops to the ground. And another ground ball goes to the Dragons. Keller has it now. Slings it behind the net to Segi. Segi feeds in the front. Good defensive play there by Kavia. And she ran out of bounds, folks. Yes, she did. And so it'll be Knights ball. Kavia will have the restart. Corbett Fennicle. Scott working on her. She gives it up to Hapsis. Hapsis has the speed. She could be the key factor in this game. Hunter Giangrasso out with an injury. Hapsis gets the ball and a good clear for the Knights. Moran now has it. Working her way inside. Shot and a save made by Elmendorf. And the rebound goal from Mackenzie Lane. She just stayed with it and picks up the first goal for the Knights. They are on the board. Mackenzie Lane picks up her 42nd goal. Mentioned the top of the broadcast, her 41 goals, number 3 in the nation. Essex goal scored by number 20, Mackenzie Lane. Time of the goal, 7 minutes, 1 second in the first half. So the Knights pick up their first goal. Let's see if they can get a draw control, try and keep some of this momentum. Ball is up and not even close. Another draw control goes to Sigwalt and the Dragons. Ball on the ground. Moran can't get the ground ball. Picked up by Raybush. Advancing is Dudley. Has it knocked out from behind. Good play by Madison D'Amico. Gets it up to Hapsis, who will turn on the afterburners. Here she comes through the midfield. She's got de Guzman and Franklin up top as well as Lane, and she's checked from behind. Got to communicate. Obviously, I can't hear because the windows are shut up here, but you got to communicate that there's a defender behind her, a turnover for the Knights. 22 minutes to go in this first half. We'll be turning it over shortly at the next dead ball. Our announcer, Aaron Thomas, is in the building. Great save by Stamball. Shot taken point blank by Colleen Dudley, and Stamball denies the goal. A good clearing pass to Corbett Fennicle. Now the Knights have to get that second goal. 21:40 to play. Here comes Corbett Fennicle. You can't. About to get too emotional in this press box. I didn't think that was a charge. A lot of movement going on by that defender. We got to be able to see it both ways, but that's why I'm up here in the booth and not down there freezing and making some money refereeing a game. So the ball goes back to the Dragons. Bounce pass ahead to Keller. Moran works her back inside. Now Madison D'Amico picks her up. She whiffs. On the ball is Ogle. Feed inside. Triple team. She'll bring it back out. Being handled by Heath now. She gave it up to Segi. And now Heath has it again. Heath working inside. D'Amico doing a good job of keeping her to the left. It looks like she wants to shoot with the right, but D'Amico forced her to use her left hand, and she didn't want to do it. Heath slows the pace down now. 33 seconds on the possession clock. Can't let her take the shot. Make her go lefty. And the Knights do a good job. So bringing the ball out is Sigwalt. She gives it up to Ogle. Ogle, try her hand at it. Feeds inside. Wide open. Can't let that happen. Got to have better communication from the Knights. A goal by Keller. For Keller, her 24th goal of the season. Now I'm going to announce this goal and turn things over to Aaron Thomas. When we come back, he will have the call. Our goal scored by number 11, Nicole Keller. Assisted by number 7, Kristen Ogle. Time of the goal, 10 minutes, 4 seconds in the first half.
Quick possession here for the Dragons. Aaron Thomas taking over the mic here. And a quick possession for the Dragons after getting a goal. And they are right back on opportunity's doorstep, knocking loudly. 4 goals to their name already here in the first half. Could have a 5th. Perfect opportunity here on the restart. They will get it. Not even a minute past their last goal. I believe that is number 11. Number 8. For the Dragons, Kelsey Scott. 3rd goal of the afternoon, 47 now on the season. Impressive total there. And an early hat trick as well. Early lead for the Dragons continues to get a little bigger. 5-1. Knights definitely have the firepower to be able to get back into this game, though. That Dragons goal was scored by number 8, Kelsey Scott. Another opportunity here for the Dragons, very close. Seemed like that long defensive possession that the Knights had, where they ended up giving up a goal. Not the last goal, but the one before that. Seemed like that took a lot of momentum out of their sails here. Right now could be an opportunity to get some of that momentum back. Madison D'Amico turning on the Jets. She's got an angle at goal scoring. Also has Mackenzie Lane, gives it up. Lane, shot! Oh, just wide of the net. Mackenzie Lane, great move. Cutting towards a goal-scoring area, rips off the shot, just misses. Madison D'Amico set it all up with the great midfield play. That is one that could come back to haunt them. Down 5-1 right now. That could have been a big goal. Here could have been a big opportunity before the whistle. Was not a clean defensive play there by the Knights. That's why the Dragons still with possession here, trying to work up that far sideline. Almost a turnover. Who's going to get this ground ball? No one, as it will roll out of bounds. Windy afternoon here at CCBC Essex. May play a part in this game. Looks like it already is. Passing. And it's going to get cold out there. Even colder, excuse me. Here's Corbett Fennicle. Back to D'Amico. Can't catch that one cleanly, but no one around her, so she's able to scoop up the ground ball. Not a lot of movement away from the ball right now as the Knights getting set into their offense. Here's Hapsis to De Guzman. To Corbett Fennicle. What is she going to do with it? Gives it up. Surprising. Leading goal scorer for the team, of course. Possession here for the Knights, slowing things down. Give their defense a rest, and they don't want to walk away from this possession without having at least a good opportunity at goal. Here's the Guzman. Over to Lane. Lane, second leading goal scorer for the Knights. Lane to Corbett Fennicle. She can't catch it. Pass was maybe a little bit too far out in front. Ground ball looks like it's going to be scooped up by the Knights. But Hapsis can't chase it down. Dragons come up with the possession, but not for long. Defensive play by Hapsis forces it the other way. And now the Knights have another chance. I believe that's Aaron Moran. Far sideline. Now to Lane behind the cage. Lane, great move here in the middle. Shot, goal. Mackenzie Lane gets this back to a 3-point game. Her second goal of the afternoon, 43rd on the season. Kenzie Lane, a player who's scored in bunches numerous times this season. Go on a nice little run here herself and bring this team back into it. She doesn't have to do it herself. This Knights offense has got plenty of firepower. Plenty of time left here in this first half, 16 minutes and some change. And then we got another 30 after that. That Knights goal was scored by number 20, Mackenzie Lane. Mackenzie Lane getting her day. On the pass, well over the head of its target. Turnover there by the Dragons in their defensive zones. Going to give the Knights another opportunity. Make this a 2-goal run here. Corbett Fennicle gives it up to Mackenzie Lane. Great defense being played by the Dragons right now. Nothing is open. Lane driving the lane herself. Shoot. Oh, just misses. Good job by Mackenzie Lane forcing the issue there. There wasn't a driving angle, so she made one. But here's an opportunity for the Dragons. On the stick of Rachel Sigwalt. Lots of space in front, now numbers. Gets the Knights defense out of position and finishes. Sigwalt with the pass. Who had the goal? Looks like number 11, Nicole Keller. Her second goal of the afternoon. 12-11. And the lead is back to 4 for the Dragons. 9th goal of the season now after getting the 11th earlier this afternoon. Nicole Keller. Great transition move there by the Dragons. Stegwalt got that ball headed down into the offensive zone, had the defense, forced the defense, to collapse on her, made the extra pass, and the shot was there. 15 minutes left in the first half. That Dragons goal was scored by number 11, Nicole Keller, assisted by number 12, Rachel Sigwalt. Here come the Dragons again, knocking on opportunity's door. Here's a good chance, and the whistle is blown before the shot. There's really no such thing as a bailout foul when you're this close to the cage. because you're going to give the other team a great opportunity regardless. But if they wouldn't have made that foul, it would have been an even better opportunity as Stambow is able to make the save as she had a chance to get ready for it on the restart. Here's another good chance. Better defensive move there by the Knights. Ground ball's picked up by D'Amico. She's got some red jerseys around her. She's got to turn on the Jets or find someone to pass it to. Passes it over to Hapsis. Now she wants to turn on the Jets, and she can. Makes 2 players miss. Now a third. Gives it up to Fennicle. Corbett Fennicle, and she can't catch it. And a great effort there by Hapsis and Fennicle. But it'll go down as a turnover. A great job just to get that ball out of their defensive zone. Give their defense, a chance to reset, gather themselves, and get into position. Turnover in the defensive zone as opposed to a turnover at the midfield line, much, much different. Approaching 10 minutes left to play here in this first half. Dragons moving the ball around. Now into the middle. Here's a chance. Good defensive effort there by number 23, Marissa Hernandez. Hernandez forcing the ball to hit the turf. Gave the Knights defense another chance to reset here. And here's a play in the middle. No one's going to get that. Is that a pass or a shot? Won't matter as Aaron Moran was the closest one to the line, so either way, the Knights get possession. Moran got a lot of space in front of her, has 2 players coming from behind, makes a nice move, gets one off the back, and now she is deep into the offensive zone. But the whistle blows, and it's a timeout taken by head coach Candace Schroeder of the Knights. Wants to talk strategy here. Her team is down 6-2 with 12 minutes and 37 seconds left in the first half. Offense has not really been a factor here in this game for the Knights. Their defense has been the unit putting in the most work. Head coach Candace Schroeder knows that this is a big offensive opportunity for her team, and she wants to see them come away with a goal at the end of it. Team has had a couple opportunities since their last goal. Long possessions that just did not end in goals. Sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way, and right now that is the factor for the Knights. That is definitely the case, for the Knights. Dragons, on the other hand, the middle of the field is pretty much wide open for the Dragons. They work the ball around a little bit, have a player cut into the middle, and they make that extra pass into the middle, and that player has an easy shot on goal. That is something defensively that Candace Schroeder's team needs to figure out a way to stop. But that is a lot easier said than done when you're playing long defensive possessions. Tired legs start to play a factor, and so does lack of communication. Communication such a big key defensively in any sport, as the 2 teams are going to come back out onto the field, and we'll see what the offensive strategy will be for Coach Schroeder's Knights team as they've had a couple minutes to talk it over. And a quick offensive possession for the Knights that almost leads to a goal, but instead it leads to a nice save there by Deanna Elmendorf, the goalkeeper for the Dragons. Great save. Also a great shot by the Knights. Sometimes it just doesn't bounce in your way. That time was definitely one of those cases. Here's a move here by the Dragons. Don't have space, but they do have numbers. Now the Knights defense gets back into position. Numbers game now back in their favor. Quick transition for the Dragons. And they're back on offense. Just over 10 minutes left to play in the first half. Chance to increase their lead to 5. A lot of movement away from the ball. But the ball has not moved from that spot in a couple seconds now. Game clock gets down to, or possession clock, gets down to 20 seconds. Ball's on the ground. Scooped up by Alexis Corbett-Fennicle. She's got space in front. She wants to turn on the Jets. Gets past one defender. And an ill-advised pass or a good defensive move leads to the ball being back on the ground, but Madison D'Amico this time is able to scoop it up. And here's another offensive possession for the Knights. Pass to Mackenzie Lane behind the cage. No one near her right now. Now someone faces. Lane looking for a teammate. Fakes the pass to Alexis Corbett-Fennicle and comes back closer into the middle of the field. Hapsis can't catch that pass initially. It's on the ground. She'll scoop it up herself. And now she's got a driving lane. And she is put on the turf illegally, as Hapsis will have a chance for a goal here on the restart. About 10 yards. A little bit further in. 9-10 yards from the crease, or from the goal, excuse me. Here's a great chance. The first down's length from making this a 3-point game. Hapsis passes it into the middle, but it's deflected. Mackenzie Lane and Laura de Guzman were headed towards there. That was a good pass attempt, but a better deflection by the Dragons. Somehow D'Amico gets that. Lane out front, and that is no good. She was in the crease. Ill-advised pass. Lane catches it. Better save. That was not Lane, excuse me. That was number 15, Paige Steigler. Paige caught the pass. Put it on goal. And a great save. Here's Lane. Fakes one way. Now to the middle. Passes it behind the cage to Steigler, who gives it up to D'Amico. Now here's Corbett-Fennicle. Driving lane, shot, goal! Nice move. And jumps into her teammate's arms. A nice move by number 12, Alexis Corbett-Fennicle. She gets her first goal of the game, and it's a big one. As now under 10 minutes left to play in the first half, it is now a 6-3 game, and that was a shorthand, or excuse me, an advantage goal. Is there one player up right now? And will remain one player up. Oh, no. It was a releasable penalty. Two teams are at even strength. A great move by Alexis Corbett-Fennicle. Gets another goal. And that will give her 52 on the season. Impressive total. That night's goal was scored by number 12, Alexis Corbett-Fennicle. And the Knights won that draw opportunity, went for the quick shot, but as you saw, missed and only got one shot on that possession, but the Dragons give it right back. Sloppy defensive play for the Dragons has let the Knights back into this game early in the first half. Or early in the game, excuse me. We're in the late stages of the first half, but still early in this contest. The defense for the Dragons really letting their team down as they've made the stops, but they have not been able to transition into offense. And there's a shot by Corbett Fennicle. Better save. Once again, the defense for the Dragons not able to get that ball, so the Knights will have another chance here on this possession. Here's Erin Moran now into the middle. She's got a lane. And it closed on her very quickly. Good recovery defense there by the Dragons. But Mackenzie Lane now flashes and shoots. And a great save by the Dragons. That is now two tremendous saves in a row. I'm going to play the walk-up game. Smart. As the Dragons have struggled turning the ball over, and they do it again. So many turnovers by the Dragons defense in this one, and Corbett Fennicle takes a shot to the head. And she'll have a chance on the restart from a very, very good angle. She had a chance like this just a couple seconds ago. Tremendous save was made by the Dragons. Let's see what they got on this one. 8 minutes left to play in the first half. 6-3 is the score. Corbett Fennicle drives and scores. Nice move. Couldn't make it happen the first time, but does the second time around. 53rd goal of the season for her. Second of the afternoon. Her and Mackenzie Lane, the only two goal scorers for the Knights, but they have got them back into this contest. It is now 6-4, 8 minutes and 3 seconds left in the first half. Dragons want to take a timeout and talk things over. That Knights goal was scored by number 12, Alexis Corbett Fennicle. And now the timeout. We'll talk about that. I wonder what the strategy will be for the Knights here after this timeout. As much as they are back into this game, they've got to thank the Dragons, really, for getting them or allowing them back into this game. Give credit where credit is due. The Knights have made the most of the opportunities, but they haven't had to really press and make the opportunities themselves. The Dragons have been happy to give them those opportunities. So many turnovers in the defensive zone for the Dragons. And when you have a lead, that is one of the number one things any coach does not want to see their team do. If you've got a lead, make the other team force the issue and get the comeback themselves. Don't allow them to have some free opportunities at goal on easy turnovers. Two teams are back out onto the field, and we'll take another draw. Ball is up in the air, and the Dragons look like they're going to get it. And actually, the Knights look like they have it. Madison D'Amico somehow got that when there was two red jerseys around her. She gives it over to Corbett Fennicle, who's splitting the defense, or trying to. She'll have to give it up, or at least take a minute to slow down as the referee stops the game. Corbett Fennicle will have another chance here on the restart. This one from the opposite side of where she scored the last goal. Great chance. Shot. Great save. Wow. That was a tremendous opportunity for the Knights, but a great save. But the rebound could not be saved as Mackenzie Lane, third goal of the game, now makes it a 1-goal game. Or actually, no, that goal is waved off. 6-4 remains the score. I'm assuming Lane was in the crease. That would be her second crease violation. Here come the Dragons. Here's where they've struggled all game long so far. Turning on the Jets, and that is now once again a turnover in the defensive zone. Can't say I blame her trying to go the distance. Maddie Reeser, the passing, trying to get the ball out of the defensive zone has not worked for the Dragons. Might as well try and take it coast to coast. Possession remains with the Knights. Here's Corbett Fennicle pushing the issue. Shot, and the whistle was well before the shot. There's no continuation here in this game. Alexis Corbett Fennicle, the shot, and wow. That was a goal. Was it a goal? No, it was not. A whistle was blown, but it won't go down as a goal. Sometimes it's kill or be killed when you're in between the pipes playing goalie in the sport of lacrosse. That time, Dragons goalie just decided not to be killed. Ball's headed towards the out-of-bounds line, but it's saved. And here come the Dragons. Can they get an offensive possession here? Seems like it's been an eternity since their last offensive possession. Finally, they get one. Now into the offensive zone, but not for long. That pass could not be caught cleanly. And as there's a scrum for the ground ball, a whistle is blown. And it looks like it'll go against the Dragons. Knights will take over possession here. And that's Tiana Hapsis with the ball on her stick. Turning on the Jets. Trying to get around the red jerseys. Does. Gets around three. Now here's another one. And that last one is able to get the ball free and take over possession for the Dragons. The magic number for Hapsis was 4. She got past those first 3 defenders. Couldn't get past the final 4th. Here are the Dragons into the middle once again. Chance. Get a goal, and that one goes over the head. And it's chased down. That's a pass, so that is a turnover. Some Dragons players arguing with the ref that that was a pass, or that was a shot. Good luck with that. Here's Aaron Moran on the far sideline. And has 2 Dragons players run into them, and Moran has got a shot, and she passes it over to Mackenzie Lane instead. Great offense there by Moran. Moran forced the 2 Dragons players to run directly into each other. She drove towards the basket, brought the remaining defenders onto her, and passed it over to Mackenzie Lane for the shot, and it is now 6-5. And with under 5 minutes left to play in the first half, I am now obligated to say that we have a brand new ball game. So 20 with the goal, 21 with the assist. And Mackenzie Lane is now in the hat trick club. She now has 44 goals on the season. That Knights goal was scored by number 20, Mackenzie Lane. Assisted by number 21, Aaron Moran. Aaron Moran, one of the multiple two-sport athletes on this CCBC Essex Knights lacrosse team. Moran, one of the standout players on the soccer team as well. Spending her last season here at CCBC Essex as she is a sophomore. Ball's on the ground. Dragons have it near the midfield line. Defense being applied by Madison D'Amico, but a great spin move by the Dragons player to get open. And here's a great opportunity for the Dragons to get back into the lead. And a great save by Stambow. Dragons point-blank shot was tremendous, but the save was even better by Stambow. Good defensive tie-up, but it is a foul. And Madison D'Amico scoops and turns on the Jets. Got space in front. Don't have numbers, but they do have space. Now that space is no more, and D'Amico needs to find someone to pass to. Instead, the great defensive move by the Dragons leads to a turnover. Here come the Dragons. Late stages of this first half. Their lead at one point was 4. Now it is only 1. Whistle against Hapsis, and the Dragons take possession. Working into the middle. It's open. Shot is just wide of the cage. No, it's not. That's a goal. Somebody's really excited out there. Rachel Sigwalt with her second goal of the contest. Goes back to a 2-point game for the Howard Dragons. Howard is far drive here from CCBC Essex, but the Howard Dragons fan club is in full attendance here at the Coliseum. 7-5 is the score. 2 minutes and 38 seconds left here in the first half. That Dragons goal was scored by number 12, Rachel Sigwalt. Here come the Knights. Another chance to get this game back to a one-possession game. 2 minutes and some change is all that separates these two teams from the halftime whistle. It's been such an exciting first half. I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us all season long. We'll have more lacrosse action on Saturday for you. But still more action here this afternoon. Hapsis will have a chance on the restart. Got two players right next to her on either side. Hapsis still shoots and just misses. And the second chance is scooped up and scored. That is number 15, Paige Steigler. Her first goal of the game and the first Knights player not to be Mackenzie Lane or Alexis Corbett-Fenical to have that goal. So it's back to a 1-point game. The way the Knights are rolling offensively right now, it looks like they're trying to take the lead before halftime. Have not had the lead at any point here in this game. That Knights goal was scored by number 15, Paige Steigler. And possession will go to the Knights. A nice draw win there for the Dragons. Looked like they were going to get a goal out of it as their momentum was rolling down their side of the hill. But only get one shot out of that possession, and now the Knights have a chance to tie this game up before halftime with just over a minute separating the two teams from the halftime whistle. And a quick restart there by Alexis Corbett-Fennicle gives the Knights the advantage. Mackenzie Lane catches, wants to go left, decides to go back to the right. Ball's on the ground, and it looks like it'll go in favor of, yes, it will. It'll go in favor of the Dragons as Paige Steigler heads over to the heads over to the penalty area. And wow, that's 2 minutes. So they'll spend the rest of this first half on a disadvantage and spend the first minute of the second half on a disadvantage as well. Dragons, great opportunity here in the final stages of the first half. Costly foul by the Knights, Paige Steigler. Oh, costly missed opportunity as that ball ends up on the ground. Didn't catch it before they went into the shooting motion. And, man, that could be costly for the Dragons. That could have been an easy goal if they would have caught that one cleanly. They still end up getting a goal, though. The Dragons, 24 seconds left in the first half, and they still get the goal after a game of hot potato and a little bit of confusion. The Howard Dragons do get a goal, get their lead back to 2 points. 8-6, 24 seconds left. The two teams will be at even strength now. And that is now 4 goals this afternoon for Kelsey Scott. That Dragons goal was scored by number 8, Kelsey Scott. Another opportunity here for the Dragons. Ball's on the ground. Scott has it. She can get a goal here. Scott, the shot, or the pass over, is deflected by Marissa Hernandez. But the Dragons will have the ball on a restart here. That is Kelsey Scott. It's a great scoring opportunity for her. She can make this a 3-point game before halftime and will not do that. Or no, whistle was blown beforehand. More time will be put back onto the clock. I think it's going to go back to about 4 or 5 seconds, maybe 3. And the Dragons will have another chance on the restart. Whistle was blown before the foul. No time has been put back on the clock yet. And that'll be all she wrote for the first half. 8-6 is the score at the end of the first half. We'll be back with the second half after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back here ready to play the final 30 minutes of lacrosse action here in what has been a very exciting contest between the Dragons and the Knights. Dragons been in the driver's seat for most of this game, but the late stages of that first half saw the Knights blaze a nice little comeback trail and make this a very interesting game. Was a one-score game for most of the last 4 or 5 minutes of the first half. We start the second half with a 2-goal game, and the Dragons a chance to make it a 3-goal game here on the restart. Shot is good. There is another goal from number 8, Kelsey Scott. She has been a scoring machine here this afternoon. That is her 5th goal of the contest. She had the final goal of the first half, and now she has the first goal of the second half. And her offensive clinic continues. 9-6 is the score. Now still in favor of the Dragons. Offensive firepower for the Knights was on display in the first half, and it'll only be a matter of time before they get it on display here in the second half. How long before it comes out, though, will be the difference in the game. That Dragons goal was scored by number 8, Kelsey Scott. Here are the Dragons once again knocking on opportunity's door. Looks like the halftime period was good for them. A little bit of a different offensive strategy, really forcing the issue going into the middle. In the first half, they were attacking the middle through passes. This time attacking the middle through drives. Almost led to a second goal there. And here is a yellow card issued to number 12, Alexis Corbett-Fennicle. She's trying to plead her case, but not going to work. Advantage opportunity here for the Dragons. Great chance to get further in the lead here. Continue to have that foot on the pedal. Corbett-Fennicle pleading her case to the coaches. Still not going to make a difference. Advantage opportunity here for the Dragons. Erin Moran takes it away and is taking it into the offensive zone. She's got 4 red jerseys around her. She's got around them so far, but finally one of those red jerseys is able to poke that ball free, put it on the ground. And a whistle is blown by the ref. It's a 2-minute penalty for Alexis Corbett-Fennicle. So a 2-minute advantage opportunity here for the Dragons, but they could be giving up a goal here. Restart from a good position for Moran. Not the strongest shooter on the team, but she can hold her own. So this is a great scoring opportunity for her and the Knights. Get a disadvantage goal. Make it 9-7. Referee holding court. Making sure everyone's in the proper position. And now the restart. Moran, the shot. Better save by the Dragons. Deanna Almerdorf making a tremendous save there for the Dragons. And now the Dragons trying to go defense to offense. And the ball ends up going out of bounds. And a turnover by the Dragons. So now a minute has gone by in their advantage, and they have not had possession in the offensive zone. Here's Deja Cabia. And a whistle blown again. The Knights may kill off this advantage for the Dragons without ever giving the Dragons any kind of a chance. Deja. Knowing, yes, a goal is important, but getting your team back at even strength, almost just as important. This could be such a huge opportunity. Mackenzie Lane taking a beating. The whistle was before, or was it? Nope. The goal will stand, it looks like. Yes, it will. Disadvantage goal for the Knights. Wow, don't see that very often. 9-7 now is the score. More importantly, for the Knights, they're 29 seconds away from having Alexis Corbett-Fenical rejoin them. But if you're a Dragons player, coach, or fan, you've now got 29 seconds to try and get a goal on this advantage. You've watched this opportunity slip through your fingers. There's a little bit more of it. They'll try and catch it before it fully slips through. Kenzie Lane picking up where she left off in the first half, getting another goal to her name. If this was basketball, that would have been an and one opportunity. That Knights goal was scored by number 20, Mackenzie Lane. And here's the opportunity for the Dragons, and they do finish. They had 29 seconds to get a goal or to get a shot off, and they got it off in 12 seconds. A nice move there by the Dragons. So it was number 11, Nicole Keller. Unassisted goal for Howard gets their lead back to 3. And these two teams will be at even strength after that. 2 minutes at advantage for the Dragons, but a 2 minutes that was really dominated by the Knights. But scoreboard doesn't reflect that, and that's all that matters. That Dragons goal was scored by number 11, Nicole Keller. Ball's on the ground. Nice move by Kelsey. And the pass over. This is a great opportunity for the Dragons. They don't have numbers, but they do have space and a great deflection. I think that was by Bailey D'Amico. Great deflection there. Forces the turnover, and now Erin Moran. She's got space in front of her. She's trying to make something happen. She's got Paige Steigler on the outside, and so is Mackenzie Lane and Laura de Guzman. Moran taking it to the opposite side, letting Lane get to her position behind the cage. Sets the pick, Lane does. Thought there was going to be a dribble handoff, but instead Moran still has the ball. We've almost played 5 minutes here in this second half. The score is 10-7. Lane drives, tries to spin. She was driving left, tried to spin and go back right. She had it taken away from her illegally. So the Knights will still have possession here. Lane, great scoring opportunity here from a very good position. Could get this back to a 2-goal game. Lane driving, shooting, and scoring. Kenzie Lane, another goal here. 2 goals in the second half to go along with the 3 that she had in the first half. Five goals total, and they've needed every single one of them. Lane driving the offense right now, allowing the Knights to remain in this game. 10-8 is the score, just over 25 minutes left in the contest. A game that has been so back and forth. The Knights never leading at any point in this game, but they've been in it from the opening whistle. Howard got out to a 3-goal lead. Mackenzie Lane scored the first goal of the game for the Knights, and it's been back and forth ever since then. The lead for the Dragons never getting any higher than 3. Conference call on the far sideline between one of the referees and the coaching staff for the Dragons. Coaching staff not happy about something. I've still yet to see a referee overturn any call at this level. There's no instant replay, so maybe it's dinner plans. Who knows? What I do know is that we're going to restart things here. Another draw attempt. Another chance for the Dragons to increase their lead. Another chance for the Knights to get back into this one. That Knights goal was scored by number 20, Mackenzie Lane. Whistles almost seeming like they're nonstop here at this point. It has been a physical. Bench got carded, did for the Dragons. 2 minutes. So 2-minute advantage here for the Knights. Not something you see every day. But this has been a very physical contest so far, and it's only going to continue to be physical and probably get more physical as this game goes on, continues to be close. Weather already playing a factor in this game, only going to continue to play a factor. And now another player for the Dragons being sent off. This is a big loss for them. That's number 8, Kelsey Scott, leading the charge offensively for them. And she'll take a 2-minute break on the bench. Referees trying to get control of this game. Still not sure what that first penalty was on. I know it was issued to the bench. Something must have been said. Madison D'Amico, the shot, no good. The 2 penalties only different from a couple seconds, so this will pretty much be 2 straight minutes. Added an advantage for the Knights. Here's Hapsis getting it over to Moran. She's open. She goes low and scores. Drops the stick and celebrates with her teammates. 10-9 is now the score, and it's back down to a 1-point game. Erin Moran, her first goal of the game, and she is now the 4th goal scorer of the contest for the Knights. Tiana Hapsis doing some celebrating with her teammates as well as she got the assist there. 21 with the goal, 8 with the assist. First penalty is up now. That second penalty on Kelsey Scott, unreleasable. She is still in the defensive zone. So still with an advantage here for the Knights. That Knights goal was scored by number 21, Erin Moran. Assisted by number 8, Tiana Hapsis. Moran and Hapsis getting their shining moment. They could use another one for their team as they're still down by 1. Mackenzie Lane driving. Dragons playing good defense here, forcing the pass. Over to Hapsis. Here's Corbett Fennicle flashing into the middle. Now with the left hand and a goal. It's now tied up, and Corbett Fennicle celebrates with the teammates, and it's now a brand new ball game. 10-all. How big were those two penalties for the Dragons? Allowed them to get back into this contest. It was a 2-goal game. 2 penalties later, we're all even. The Knights have now gone in a 3-goal run to tie things up, and this is the first time this game has been even since it was 0-0. Still some conversations on the sideline. Kelsey Scott is still in the penalty area. And the 50 seconds is still up on the scoreboard, so she'll still be on the sideline. Another quick goal there. I was just about to announce Alexis Corbett Fennicle's last goal, but she got another one before I could. And now the Knights have their first lead of the contest. And man, those penalties proving to be costly, as there was still 50 seconds on the clock on the penalty before that last goal. And now that goal is through, and now there's still 40 seconds. Only took 10 seconds for them to get that next goal. And for the Knights to get their first lead. It is now a 4-goal run for the Knights. A timeout taken by the Dragons. They want to talk strategy. The last 2 Knights goals have been scored by number 12, Alexis Corbett Fennicle. The Knights enjoying their first lead of the contest. Dragons coaching staff wants to talk it over. It's been a tale of 2 halves. The struggles that the Dragons had in the first half, which allowed the Knights to get back into this contest, that was turning the ball over in the defensive zone. They really haven't done that very much here in the second half. Instead, it was those 2 big turnovers that allowed the Knights to go on this 4-goal run and take their first lead of the contest. Offense for the Dragons going to suffer as long as number 8, Kelsey Scott, is off the field. She has been the driving force for the offense here this afternoon. Two teams are back out onto the field and ready to play the next 23 minutes and some change. Wow, Alexis Corbett Fennicle is dominant on those draws right now. She was trying to get another draw win and take it coast to coast. Oh, wow, another penalty. This one on number 11, Nicole Keller. 2 minutes again, wow. The Knights back to a 2-person advantage and another goal. This one coming off the assist of Alexis Corbett Fennicle. Paige Steigler with the goal, and a 5-goal run now for the Knights here in the second half. The advantage for the Knights will continue as well. Neither penalty is being released right now, so the Dragons still at the 2-person disadvantage. I'm no lacrosse expert, but this is bad for the Dragons. Tiana Hapsis up top. Steigler, another goal! Couldn't even announce the first one. Now Steigler has 2 goals, this one coming off an assist from Hapsis. So the last 2 Knights goals coming off of the stick of Paige Steigler. And this is the longest 2-minute penalty I've ever seen. Kelsey Scott still in the penalty area. Wow. Knights offense trying to put on a clinic. Kelsey Scott's going to come back into the game. Now only a 1-person advantage here for the Knights. Last 2 Knights goals have been scored by number 15, Paige Steigler. Refs are really trying to get in control of this game. Whistle has been blown non-stop here in the second half. It's only a 1-person advantage now here for the Dragons. This is still very much anyone's contest. Dragons have more than enough firepower, to get back into this game. They just need to settle down, get the defense settled. Here's Hapsis. After a good defensive effort there by the Dragons, another good defensive effort, forcing the turnover. Great move. Now can they go defense to offense? Oh, the pass was just over the head, but saved. Oh, I'm all the way up here. And oh, man. That was questionable. It didn't look like that went over the line, but the ref saw it the other way. Knights taking possession here now. Working behind the cage. Ball's on the ground. And Aaron Moran will still have possession here. 26 seconds on the advantage. Aaron Moran taking over here on the restart. She's already got a goal here in this second half. Will not get a second one on that attempt, but Steigler is closest to the line. Clock continues to run. 15 seconds away from being even strength. Wow, what a goal there by Alexis Corbett-Fennicle. Split the defense, went low with the shot. Really no defense for a perfect shot. That was a very nice shot by Alexis Corbett-Fennicle. Seems like the Knights have been doing nothing but offense here the last couple minutes. And a lot of that is due to the penalties that have been called here by the refs. Defense by the Dragons has been good. Can only play defense for so long. It's like the old saying in football. You can only cover a receiver for so long. Kind of seeing something very similar to that here in this game. Dragons still lots of time for them to get back into this game, and I believe they will. One of the keys to getting back into the game is going to be the draw, though, is that night's goal was scored by number 12, Alexis Corbett-Fennicle. I started to say before that, and that one of the keys for the Dragons getting back into this game is going to be the draw. That's something they've struggled with here in the second half. Ball's on the ground. Fennicle scoops it up, gives it to Steigler, and that one's well over the cage. Largest lead of the game for the Knights. Standing right now at 14-10, 21 minutes left. The Dragons just need a goal to stop this Knights momentum, and they'll be right back into this one. They went on a 3-goal run to start this game, so you know they've got the firepower. They've proven already here this afternoon, that they've got the firepower to get back into this game. Ball's on the ground. Good defensive effort here by the Dragons. And, man, the ground balls in the defensive zone is killing the Dragons right now. Ground ball went closer to the goal where Mackenzie Lane was. She was able to just scoop it up and shoot. And a timeout taken by the Dragons as they are now down by 5 goals with just over 20 minutes left. Essex Knights driving the train right now. Dragons can definitely get back into the conductor's seat, though. Lots of time left. That last night's goal was scored by number 20, Mackenzie Lane. Strategy conversation right now for the Dragons. It's got to be simple. I don't know if it's much of strategy right now as it is nerves. And I can't say the nerves is their fault either. The Knights got back into this game, and then we saw a barrage of penalties being called by the refs. And the Dragons kind of had to watch the snowball effect afterwards. Not say that they're not responsible for that. Seemed like momentum got onto the side of the Knights, and the Knights just never let go of it. That's still so much time left in this game. Dragons going a nice little run right now, and it'll be back to being anybody's ball game. This is a huge part of why the Knights have gotten out in front here in the second half, though. Alexis Corbett-Fennicle has been pretty dominant right here. She'll get another one, and you know what she's thinking. She's thinking about turning the Jets on, getting into a scoring position, and she does just that. Man, nobody stepped up on the Dragons' defense until it was too late. Alexis Corbett-Fennicle was already in a great scoring position before the defense collapsed on her. She made the goal happen there, 16-10. And the wheels on the bus for the Dragons certainly not going round and round. Looks like Keanu Reeves is driving that bus right now. That Knights goal was scored by number 12, Alexis Corbett-Fenical. Alexis Corbett-Fenical having a great season, continuing her great sophomore season. Great opportunity here for the Dragons. Collapsing into the defense, that's going to be a call on the Knights. And it's going to give the Dragons a great opportunity. Cut back into this lead. Here is a restart. Great shot, great goal. That is number 11 for the Dragons, I believe. It is. And the Dragons just have to get back into this game one goal at a time, and they start with that one. Still so much time left on this clock, and I've said it a couple times. This Dragons team has more than enough firepower to get back in this one, starting with that goal from number 11, Nicole Keller, on the restart. You saw how important the draw was there. They can get a draw win, but the draw violation on Alexis Corbett-Fenical leads to the offensive opportunity for the Dragons. Momentum could be switching back onto the Dragons' side. Oh, just won by Alexis Corbett-Fenical. That one was very close. And a goal. Wow. So quick. That Dragons goal was scored by number 11, Nicole Keller. Paige Steigler had the goal. Alexis Corbett-Fenical had the assist. And it was a 5-goal lead at for a second. But then the Knights got it right back to a 6-goal lead. That Knights goal was scored by number 15, Paige Steigler. Assisted by number 12, Alexis Corbett-Fenical. Here's another opportunity here for the Dragons after they got possession. And a whistle goes against the Dragons. Knights take possession. And the whistle's just not going in favor of the Dragons here this afternoon. Tiana Hapsis. No one's back here on defense now. Finally, the numbers game is at even strength. Hapsis, long pass across the field to Alexis Corbett-Fenical, and she's going to slow things down. Over to Hapsis. 17-11 is the score, under 20 minutes to play now in the contest. Madison D'Amico. The sun has set here and the lights are on, and it is still cold out there. Tiana Hapsis splits. Shot. It's wide, but Mackenzie Lane is there to scoop up the rebound. Knights still with possession. Shot clock is at 35 seconds. Alexis Corbett-Fenical splits into the middle, the whistle, and she'll get a chance here on the restart. Corbett-Fenical shot, even better save there. And another scoop and ground ball win for the Dragons. Shot out in front. That was a great opportunity. That was just missed. Dragons have a chance. Get this ball out of their defensive zone and into the offensive area. Get back into this one. Struggles getting the ball out of their defensive area continue, though. That'll go down as a turnover. Aaron Moran's there for the ground ball win. I want to thank you for joining us here this afternoon. It's been an incredible afternoon of lacrosse, and it's going to continue for the next 17 minutes, maybe longer if the Dragons can get back in this game, force overtime. Here's a great opportunity for the Dragons. They've got numbers and space. Forced the pass, NJCAA did. Dragons still with possession, still knocking on opportunity's door. They need to kick that door down right here and right now. Spinning into goal scoring area. Great recovery defense by Bailey D'Amico. Dragons look like they've got a game plan right here. They want to make sure it comes through. Make sure it happens. Movement away from the ball now. Cutting across the middle. Far sideline. Now behind the cage. Great possession here. Going to lead to a shot. In the middle. Better save by Stambow. Wow, great possession for the Dragons. It just didn't end in a goal. But in this stage of the game, that's something they cannot afford. Hapsis up to Steigler. Steigler. Good ride defense right here. Force this turnover. Make this a quick possession here for the Knights. And the Dragons force the ball on the ground. But they'll say the whistle. After the whistle, they'll say possession remains with the Knights. You'd think with this lead, the Knights would want to take time off the clock. They're not the kind of team that's going to do that. They're going to continue to press the issue. So there's going to be chances for this Dragons defense to force a turnover and make a nice transition move. Ball's on the ground. Great defensive effort. And there's a ground ball scoop and win by the goalkeeper for the Dragons. Long pass is not caught cleanly by the Dragons, but they'll get the ground ball into the offensive zone now. Got to split three defenders. Instead, the whistle. Dragons will still have possession here. So hard for the Dragons when they have to work this hard to get the ball just into their offensive zone. Here's Kelsey Scott. Or excuse me, that is not Kelsey Scott. That was number 6. Here's the move. Out in front. Ball's on the ground. Scooped. Shot. And the whistle was before the shot, but possession will still be with the Dragons here. That's number 16, Colleen Dudley. Dudley with a great chance to make this lead a little bit smaller. Dudley with the shot. Great save by Stambow as she swats it away. Possession still with the Dragons. Whistle. That one will go against NJCAA. Dragons into the middle. Need a goal. Cannot let much more time go by without getting one. And a turnover. Laura de Guzman is there to force it and scoop up the ball. Ball's on the ground again, though. Who will get this? Looks like the Dragons have it. Yep, they do, especially after the whistle. Dragons here. Don't have space, but they've got great energy right now on the offensive zone. They're still feeling that they're in this, and they are. Shot, goal! And the Dragons finally get one back. 17-12, 13 minutes and some change left in this one. Still anyone's ball game. Dragons talking offensive strategy. Strategy for them was great in the first half. Game kind of got away from them late in the second half, but still very much in this one. And they've got the firepower to continue. We're waiting to get confirmation on that goal, but we got it. It is Rachel Sigwalt who had that goal for Howard. Sigwalt, another goal for her. That Dragons goal was scored by number 12, Rachel Sigwalt. And wow, just as the Dragons thought they were back in this one, and they still very much are, Alexis Corbett-Fennicle gets another goal that makes the comeback hopes a little more dark. 12 had the goal for the Dragons the last time, and now 12 has the goal this time for the Knights. Alexis Corbett-Fennicle continuing to have a great second half. She's got 5 goals in the second half alone. Continuing her dominance here in her final sophomore season at CCBC Essex. 18-12 is the score. And we have a loud crowd here at CCBC Essex. It's been a great contest so far. That Knight's goal was scored by number 12, Alexis Corbett-Fennicle. And here's Hapsis scooping up the ground ball after the turnover. Looked like the Dragons were going to go defense to offense, but weren't able to go fast enough. And the whistle, that whistle was blown before the pass, so the goal does not count. Whistle goes against the Dragons, so possession will remain with the Knights. Thank you for joining us here this afternoon. Thank you for joining us all season long. It's been a tremendous season of lacrosse that only continues to get more tremendous as Tiana Hapsis shrugs her shoulders like she's Michael Jordan in Game 3 of the finals against the Trailblazers. Just saying, oh, what, did I do that? Yes, you did, Hapsis. She's shrugging her shoulders, actually, because she's not known as a goal scorer here for this Knights team, but that time she got the goal as the ball hit the back of the net, surprising her and her teammates. A nice move by Hapsis, getting the goal and doing the Michael Jordan shrug afterwards. Laughing as the fans here at the Coliseum letting their energy out, letting the Knights players know that this has been a tremendous game for them. And that it has. At one point, it looked like the Dragons were going to run away with this. Remember, they went on a 3-goal lead, a 3-goal run, to start this. But it has been all Knights pretty much since the late stages of the first half. Big part of that, number 12, Alexis Corbett-Fennicle for the Knights and her dominance on the draw. That Knights goal was scored by number 8, Tiana Hapsis. And here's Erin Moran, 12 minutes left in the contest. Spinning around, spinning back around, trying to get this defender away from her. And Moran finally dumps it off to Steigler. Paige Steigler has had herself a great second half. 3 goals in the second half to go along with the one that she had in the first. Hapsis scooped up that ground ball. And now, and a moving pick on Erin Moran, and Tiana Hapsis would have got a tech for slamming that ball down on the ground if this was the NBA. And wow, That was a missed ground ball opportunity for the Dragons, as the ball went past 2 Dragons players and safely rolled towards a Knights player. Madison D'Amico has the ball on her stick right now, approaching 10 minutes left in the second half. Second half that has just been absolutely dominated by the Knights. And the clock continues to run as Tiana Hapsis and Tiana Hapsis and Alexis Corbett-Fennicle play catch right now. Now Madison D'Amico is getting in on the game of catch. Erin Moran, nice spin move to get herself free. Goal scoring, and it's good. Or was the whistle blown before? It was, as the ref is backing Erin Moran to the position, back to the position, that she was at before the shot. Moran will take possession here on the restart. 10 minutes and 33 seconds left in this first half. Moran doesn't get the goal that time on the restart. But Paige Steigler's there to scoop up the ground ball. Doesn't have a lot of space to work with behind that cage. She's got 2 red jerseys surrounding her. She's trying to get rid of this ball, but she is fouled before she could pass it off. Mackenzie Lane catches and shoots and scores. Another goal for the Knights. And the dominance here in this second half continues. That is now 20-12 in a game that was very close. It is now not so much. Fourteen goals here in the second half scored by the Knights. At one point they went on a long run of 6 goals, I believe. Actually, 9 goal. They had a 9-goal run at one point here in the second half. And this game very much in hand, and the Dragons just want to get out of here at this point. That last night's goal was scored by number 20, Mackenzie Lane. And here come the Knights. Possession with them. Alexis Corbett-Fennicle over to Hapsis. Hapsis. Back to Corbett-Fennicle. Under 10 minutes left to play here. And the ball is being tossed around the outside. I got to say, I'm very impressed with the fact that the Dragons still very much pressing the issue, trying to force a turnover, get back into the offensive zone. They finally force that turnover as the ball's on the ground, but somehow Madison D'Amico scoops it up, and she was out of bounds. As the Dragons players plead with the ref. Whoa, nice stick check by Alexis Corbett-Fennicle. Actually, referee saw it the other way. Possession will go with the Dragons. 20-12 is the score. Hapsis turning on the Jets, catching back up with the Dragons, forcing them to slow down this offensive possession. 8 minutes and some change. All that separates these two teams from the final whistle. Player in the middle, shot. No good. That's wide of the cage. Possession remains with the Dragons. 50 seconds on the shot clock. Still a lot of time left. Working towards the middle. Nothing there, and it's deflected by Bailey D'Amico, and then she gets the ground ball. Now she's turning on the Jets. Wants to get it to one of the offensive players and does. Bailey D'Amico spends most of her time in the defensive area, so she didn't feel very comfortable getting that ball into the offensive zone herself. Decided to get it onto someone else's stick. Alexis Corbett-Fenical with the shot, and it goes off the post. Possession will go with the Dragons. Shot clock was the clock is turned off for a moment, but we're back on. Technical difficulty looked like. Dragons now into the middle, now into the offensive area. Behind the cage, caught, and now in the middle, shot, and the whistle was blown before the shot. Possession will remain with the Knights. Knights have played pretty much this entire game with no bench. A good defensive effort by the Knights. I bring that up because this has been such a physical contest. The Dragons played pretty much the same thing, though. Not much of a bench on their unit as well. These two teams doing a lot of running here this afternoon. 6 minutes and 42 seconds is all that's left in this contest. 20-12 is the score. Possession will remain with the Dragons here. For any of you watching this game and missing the Wizards game, the Wizards are currently down 64-45. There's a goal there by the Dragons. 20-13 now is the score. That is number 19 for the Dragons, Delaney Heath, with the goal. That stops the 3-goal run that the Knights were in the middle of. A goal would have came maybe about 4 or 5 minutes ago, I'd say, that comeback hopes are still alive for the Dragons. I guess they are. I've seen crazier things happen, but 7 goals in 6 minutes. They're going to need to have a pretty tremendous run. But I was saying before, if anyone's watching this game and missing the Wizards game, Wizards currently find themselves down by 20, 65-45. 20-13 after the Dragons goal. That Dragons goal was scored by number 19, Delaney Heath. And the Knights scoop up the ground ball after we had a little bit of a scrum for it. Here come the Knights offense as they're finally looking content with just running some time off the clock. Tiana Hapsis, right player to have the ball if that's what your mindset is. And Hapsis was forced to step out of bounds. The Dragons faithful is still very loud and proud here in this game. 20-13 is the score. Dragons got space in front, looking at a goal here. In the middle, the whistle was blown before the pass. Dragons will still have possession here, though. Dragons with possession. A quick shot after a quick pass, but it's missed. And Deasia Kabia, is there closest to the end line. Knights. I'll get it right eventually. Knights take over possession. Hapsis can't catch that one, but she scoops up the ground ball. Gets around one red jersey. He's got another one to get around. Does. Under 5 minutes left to play. Tiana Hapsis loses it finally. And the Dragons take possession here. 20-13 is the score. Just over 4 minutes to play. And a whistle. Dragons still with possession as we restart. Clock continues to run. We're now at the 4-minute mark. Dragons finally get that ball out of their defensive zone and into their offensive area. But now the game continues. Now the game really starts. Can they get a goal? Great defensive play. Oh, what I thought was a great defensive play. Stick was a little too high. Alexis Corbett-Fenical headed over to the bench area. 2 minutes for her. Only 4 minutes and 3 seconds left in the game, so she'll take a 2-minute break, and she may not come back into the game after that, unless the Dragons get a quick goal, of course. But then we did see a couple unreleasable penalties in this second half. Penalties, big reason why the Dragons find themselves down in this one. They had about a 3-4 minute stretch where they were down a person pretty much the whole time. At one point, multiple points during that stretch, they were actually down 2 people. A 2-person advantage for the Dragons. Here's another shot for the Dragons on an advantage. They miss it. Great save by Stambow. Dragons still with possession here. 45 seconds has been killed off of the penalty. And a great save by Stambow. And a great shot from the Dragons. It's a couple just tremendous saves Stambow's made in this contest. Dragons could be a little bit closer in this one if it wasn't for Stambow in between the pipes for the Knights. No surprise, though, if you've followed this Knights team this season, Stambow's made big save after big save all season long. 45 seconds left on the penalty, and then the two teams will be back at even strength. Hapsis trying to get shorthanded goal. Knights already have a shorthanded goal to their name here this afternoon. Whistle is blown away from the ball and before the pass. Knights will remain with possession. Two minutes and some change is all that is left. 10 seconds, is all that is left on the man-up opportunity for the Dragons. Hapsis into the scoring area, shoots and scores! Tiana Hapsis throws down the stick. And she is feeling it. Hapsis, her second goal of the second half. It is now 21-13. The offensive onslaught continues, and the Knights, as my dad would say when I was a kid, are laying a beaten down. Actually sounded more like a beaten when he said it. That Knights goal was scored by number 8, Tiana Hapsis. Hapsis enjoying her sophomore season as well. A couple sophomores are going to be enjoying their sophomore night here for CCBC Essex coming up shortly. 1 minute and 35 seconds is all that separates these two teams from the final whistle and the clock hitting triple zeros. This was a contest that at one point looked like the Dragons were going to run away with. The Knights blazed a nice comeback trail late in the first half, made the comeback complete in the early stages of the second half, and they have not looked back ever since. Deasia Cabia, here she goes in the offensive zone. She wants to score, and she'll pass it off instead. Nice eye by Deasia, passing it over to Mackenzie Lane. Lane was open, but she couldn't catch that one cleanly. Oh, sandwich made with the Dragons player and 2 Knights players. And now under a minute, clock stops for what everyone hopes to be the final time. Ball is scooped up. Dragons still trying to get the ball into their offensive zone. They do. Good defense being applied by Aaron Moran, though. Better offense being displayed by the Dragons, getting it into a scoring area, now behind the cage. 30 seconds left in the contest. Dragons looking for one final goal. Shot is over the cage, but Dragons are the closest ones there. They'll still have another possession. 19 seconds left in the contest. Actually, ref saying it's the other way. That was not a shot. That was a pass. And Madison D'Amico takes over for the Knights, and that'll be the final possession of the game for the Dragons. Final possession for either team is D'Amico, and the Knights are going to run this one out. The clock has hit triple zeros, and that is all she wrote. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of tonight's contest. We thank you for joining us this evening. As you leave, please drive carefully and arrive home safely. There you go. That is the end of tonight's contest. Final score 21-13 in favor of the Knights. Howard Dragons put up a great fight, and at one point, it looked like they were going to run away with it. The Knights had other plans. We'll be back with more lacrosse action this Saturday, 10 o'clock, or 11 o'clock, excuse me. Be there.